Sam Raimi has brought us many great things. From the Evil Dead trilogy to possibly the best Spider-Man movie ever made. But one of my favorite things that Sam Raimi has introduced to us is none other than his little brother Ted Raimi.
You know, I call me T-Money. That's my new thing, you understand?
Welcome to Dumb Down, the show where we summarize movies in hopes of understanding them better. This week, we dumb down Skinner. Ted Raimi plays Dennis Skinner, a nerdy, decent-looking guy who loves to stalk hookers at night, kill them, and eventually skin them. Well, maybe he's not that great of a guy after all. This starts up with Dennis walking into a new town where he enters an ad for a room. Here he meets Carrie, a struggling woman whose husband works as a truck driver and is barely home.
Make yourself at home.
It's good to be home.
At first, everything seems to go just fine, but it doesn't take long for Dennis to start doing some creepy shit, like getting naked and standing right outside of her bedroom. The next day, Dennis begins doing what he really likes to do, going out in search of hookers, pretending that he's gonna pay them for their service, but instead tying them up and killing them. Some Vince from Slapshot shit, if you know what I mean.
You're gonna love my nuts.
He even asked the hookers if he could call them Carrie.
You can call me anything you want.
That's a little weird. You just met Carrie. Eventually, Carrie's husband shows up, and he's not at all happy that she rented a room to a man. Typical beta male jealousy shit.
What? You got some guy living here with you while I'm away?
But Dennis continues to be a low-key weirdo. Just look at how he drinks water.
Dennis.
Oh, sorry.
Despite being this fucking weird, he eventually lands a job as a janitor at a warehouse. Here he finds some secret abandoned spot that he starts using to skin his victims. Back at home, he slowly starts seducing Carrie while her husband's away, and she's completely blind to just how fucking creepy he is. Plus, he continues to stand outside her door, naked at night. On top of all of this, there's a partially disfigured woman named Heidi who is after him. Apparently, she's a prostitute that survived one of his attacks. All she does now is stay in hotels and shoot up dope as she follows Dennis around from place to place. So one night, Dennis goes out on a hooker run. Right after he attacks the hooker, Heidi surprises him from behind, but all he does is discreetly run away. But psych, he comes right back around and knocks Heidi the fuck out and takes the hooker away like a sack of potatoes. Some Three Stooges type shit. So then we learn the reason why he skins people. Apparently as a child, his father decided to perform his mother's post-mortem by himself, and he made Dennis watch all of it. But now Dennis doesn't just skin these people, he also wears their skin, like some sort of full-body Leatherface.
Wow, that was weird.
Eventually Dennis graduates from killing only hookers and goes after a coworker named Earl, only because this guy got him mad. We don't get to see him kill him, but we get to see what happens right after, where he wears his skin. I guess budgetary reasons, they just don't show us a lot of the killings. And here is where we get the goofiest / slightly racist moment of the movie.
Yeah, baby! Come for you, dog!
Yup, that might not fly in 2019. As he wears Earl's skin, he begins to chase a woman through some alley, and eventually follows her inside an abandoned building and kills her.
I smell you, bitch! Yeah!
After this, he returns home, still wearing Earl's skin. But wait, how did this not drag blood across the entire house?
Stop asking so many fucking questions.
But Dennis is starting to get real cocky, and he goes around making jokes like this.
You seen Earl around? Well, I wouldn't worry about old Earl. Heck, you know him. He could be right under our noses and we wouldn't know it.
Not only that, one night, he just straight up walks into Carrie's room, half naked, and they end up having sex. Now, the next day, Dennis is thinking of ways to tell Carrie the truth about him being a fucking weirdo who likes to skin people. So you might ask yourself just how someone might reveal such thing to another person. Well, easy. Well, What better way than by wearing the skin of a hooker as you tell them the truth? So Dennis has gone completely fucking nuts, but Heidi hasn't given up yet, and she finally discovered where Dennis has been living. She heads over to the house, but it might be a little too late for Carrie, or has it? Just seconds after Heidi arrives at Carrie's home, her husband does too.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I'm looking for Dennis Skinner.
They confront each other and he begins looking for Carrie, but she is nowhere to be found. What they do find is a note addressed to him, which only has the word sorry written on it. Now Heidi drops a bunch of exposition about what Dennis has previously done to her and how long she's been after him and whatnot. She also reveals just how disfigured she is, thanks to Dennis. So essentially she looks like the aliens from that movie Alien Nations when she takes off her wig and hat. But since humans are flawed and they can't get along, Heidi and Carrie's husband fight while each of them asks each other the location of Dennis. This culminates with Heidi knocking his ass down the stairs. Dennis ends up taking Carrie down to the warehouse where he works. He has her tied up and is ready to skin her ass. But wait, somehow, Heidi and Carrie's husband randomly guessed that they would be at this exact location, and they rolled up in his truck. So I guess they are now working together.
What's the matter, Pop? I'm confused.
But not for long, because for some strange reason, Heidi decides to drug him up with some shit just to make sure that she's the first one to get to Dennis Skinner.
Dennis Skinner is mine.
Inside, Dennis is being as weird as ever.
It's on my back! Fucking kill you!
But he might be no match for Heidi's whispers.
I finally found you.
She whispers more than Steven Seagal.
That wasn't nice.
And now it's time for the final showdown. Well, not much of one. Heidi and Dennis stand around holding knives looking for each other for a while.
Time to end this. Gun, I cannot miss. In this ultimate battle. I'll never stop no matter what the world may say.
Heidi then catches Dennis off guard, cuts him, then hits him with a quick 1-2 combo. But all this commotion has alerted the warehouse security guard. Never mind all the times that Dennis has skinned people alive in here and this dude didn't hear shit. He conveniently hears all of this now.
Wow, how convenient is fucking that?
So the security guard rolls up and unloads shots into both Dennis and Heidi. They both fall next to each other and start mumbling nonsense to one another. The end. Okay, so we went through this whole movie for the security guard to get the credit of killing Dennis Skinner. He doesn't even have a name in the movie. He's billed as the Night Watchman. Although Dennis at one point randomly calls him Bob, which is probably a name that Ted Raimi came up on the spot. Well, this has been Skinner Dumbed Down, a super entertaining movie that lost some steam towards the end, where it became obvious that they didn't know how to end the movie. Well, make sure to like the video, subscribe, share with all your friends. Once you've done that, go check out our Instagram page.
So long. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Get the fuck out of here now.
What do you think you are? Fucking bitch! Yeah, baby! Here's to the tree, y'all! That's up!